Finally, a little something to report on. It's been kind of a slow morning. Love these fish. A little bit of the tick boom right there. I've looked around quite a bit. I've spot locked on a couple schools of fish. I didn't fire up the live scope this morning. That right there was on that Salmo 4-inch Finesse Swimbait in the perch color. I'm back where I was the other morning. I was just getting ready to, once I finished that cast, I was just getting ready to get off spot lock and drift over this piece of structure quick and then call it a day. It's 7:30 right now. I've been out since, well, I got out here at 5:30. I came to a different area that I haven't fished yet this year, adjacent to where I am now. So I spent a half an hour this morning looking, graphing, trying to find some fish in that area. I found a few isolated pockets, you know, clusters of 4 or 5, but they weren't around anything else. And so I did find one little tiny rock pile in 20 foot of water. It came up to about 18 and a half. And I'm watching on my side view, which is great for identifying structure. And I saw that rock and I got upwind of it and I spot locked on it and I jigged it pretty hard. I did catch a short and I had another good one on that came unbuttoned, and that was it. I had a third one on a jig and wrap. I had somebody request a jig and wrap video today, and I've been fishing it all morning. I just couldn't get anything going with it, so I didn't want to, you know, I like to have a little success with it as I'm doing it to show and talk about it. So, you know, we'll see. I'm gonna let spot lock loose, and I'm gonna drift across this point and see what happens. So stay tuned. Hopefully I'll be back with another fish. If not, we'll wrap it up and call it a Saturday. All right, the swim bait strikes again. Long, skinny. 16 3/4. Can't boat flip it on this rod. I mean, I can and I have, but it's only 6-pound test leader on an ultralight rod. But that little Salmo, all the guys that have been keeping walleyes this season so far in the last week or so have all been saying how many little perch are in their belly. That looks about as little perchy as you can get. I just slid off the crown of this little hump, casting back up on top. Boom. So I'm going to give it one more shot. It's 7:45. I got till 8 o'clock. That's pushing my max before I got to get out of here. So let's see if we can't turn this into a pattern. Hits the water, I want to count it down. There are some weed tops out there. There are some weeds on the crown. I want to count it down so I'm just making contact with the tops of them. There he is. So you watch that in real time, no editing. I'm on spot lock, but my motor was still cocked like this, like I was drifting. And so I stopped for a minute, I turned around and I straightened the wheel out because I happened to notice it. And in that time, as soon as I picked the retrieve back up again, he was there. So in that time, that swim bait swimming along and it went boom. And he was behind it, and it did something different. Now, some days they want it just straight retrieve. Let me get him back. I'm assuming he'll go 15. He will not. 14 and a half. Some days they want it just a straight, steady retrieve. Other days they want a little bit of oomph in it. Some days when you kill it and that bait goes to the bottom. I didn't plan on this being a swim bait video, but you know, one's an anomaly, two's an interest, three's a pattern, you know, and that's 3 fish on this bait since I've started throwing it in this 15-foot or less area. But like I say, that walleye's behind him, and they're smallmouth walleye, they're tracking that bait. And some days, like I say, you just keep going steady, and that rod loads up because they've come up behind it and grabbed it, and they don't even realize it yet. Other days, they want it to do something a little tiny bit different. Stop. Start to sink. You know, speed up. Move that tip a little bit. You never quite know until it happens. This is the last cast. It's 7:58. I got to get out of here. This is the last cast. Let's hope for a little bit of success. All right, no last cast magic on that one, but I do have to get going. So, you know, like I say, I didn't intend this to turn into a swim bait video this morning, but as my old friend Captain Bernie Haney, New York Fishing Adventures, says, big fish eat little fish. Doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. And this is a little fish, and the bigger ones eat it. Listen, I'll throw that swim bait anywhere, anytime. I like it around anomalies. I like it around structure, weed lines, you know, that kind of thing. And I also like it where I'm seeing a lot of bait. On this rock pile right here, I could just as easily be throwing something like this. Just a nipped off rage craw on a small 1/4 ounce football head. You can see the size of that, shape of that head. I could easily be throwing it on that too. Or throwing that as well on the same setup. Light rod, just ticking it off the bottom. Walleyes and smallmouth living over rocks will eat either of these things. This rock pile has a little bit of weeds up on top of it, which will typically hold bait. Young of the year perch up in those weed beds. So try something different. Don't be intimidated by it out here. Oneida is a big lake, but it doesn't have to just be Oneida. You know, you go into an area, and I think a lot of times you have to more think about what you feel like doing and how you want to fish as opposed to what the fish may want that day. Because how you want to fish is just that. It's a personal preference. And I think that builds in the confidence that you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go get them on this today. Yesterday was a jerk bait. Today was a swim bait. You know, those couple fish I caught up on that other little rock pile were on a blade bait. Be versatile. Mix it up. Do what you want. You know, fishing's fishing. It's supposed to be fun. And I try not to get wrapped up in the how many I got today as opposed to, you know, what did I learn? Where did I fish? What did I see? How were things, you know, what were the conditions like? What responded to what that I was doing? There is more to the life of a fisherman than just, oh, I got a limit today, or I got this today, or I caught this many today. You know, look at me. Those days are great. And when they come together, but on the days where maybe it's not fast and furious, you still have a lot of things you can take away from your morning, your day, your afternoon, your evening. And that just helps you store that away. My grandpa used to say, store that away in your computer, boy. Because it's a dark sky, you know, I mean, the water's cleared up, the wind's finally back out of the west. You know, those kind of things all play into what you do and where you go. And And I hope it contributes, and I hope these videos contribute to your enjoyment and also to your success. And I love nothing more than to get the comments and the messages on a daily basis. You know, I only fish a night or whatever body of water I'm at, because of you and your videos and seeing what you do and how you explain it. And that's so gratifying for me, and I love doing it. You know, I'm a teacher by nature. I'm in the teaching tree of Captain Tony Buffa and some other great captains that I've had the pleasure to work for over my career, and a lot of the great fishermen that I share knowledge and conversation with back and forth every day. That's how you grow. Nobody grows on an island. Nobody grows in their comfort zone. Try new things. Try new spots. What's the worst that could happen? You don't catch anything? Well, then I guess maybe you know not to go back to that spot. So, all right. Have a great Saturday. Hopefully this weather turns around a little bit. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Keep your tip up.